Oh, okay. The broadcast is live. Ah, there we go.
Hey,
Live.
we should have started 20 minutes late, like most comedy clubs.
Yeah, that's right. It's awesome that like Kraftwerk did our theme song for us. Thank you to Kraftwerk. So this is the live Q&A. I'm Jason Rowland. I'm the VP of the World Series of Comedy, and this guy here.
I'm Joe Lowers. I'm the CEO and president of the World Series of Comedy.
So
yeah, important.
It does sound important.
We just made up titles.
This Q&A today is going to last approximately an hour. So we're going to go over the basics of the main event, the World Series of Comedy, how you register, what the registration process is, the submission videos, a whole bunch of different categories. We welcome your comments. We'll be trying to answer as many questions that you post in the comment section of the YouTube video. We will also archive this video so that if you happen to not be watching live, it'll be up there afterwards. So Joe, why don't you just give people a little bit of background on why you created the World Series of Comedy and sort of what our goal as a festival is.
Well, I created it because I've been doing comedy myself for quite a long time. And when I started doing comedy in Pittsburgh 25 years ago, I started going on the road to perform, and I would come back to my home club and I'd be like, hey, I just worked with this comic and he's really funny. And the club would be like, and they wouldn't hire him, and kind of drove me nuts. And I really love helping comics. I know it's kind of crazy, and this is something that only comics I think would understand, but that feeling that you get when you perform and you come off stage, unless you perform as a comic, no one understands that feeling. And I mean, I guess maybe people who have done bands and different things, but as a comic, that feeling, I get that almost that same feeling when I help another comic get work. I don't know why. It's kind of a weird thing, but I just really enjoy seeing comics succeed and do this. And when I started it, I thought I wasn't even sure it was going to work. And then the first year it worked really, really well. And then the second year I was a nervous wreck because I didn't know if I got lucky in the first year.
Yeah, right.
And all these people were like, this is like Montreal Comedy Club. I'm like, whoa, I'm just a guy who just wants to help some comics.
Right. And I think that's sort of like the baseline of what this festival is about. Our entire goal is to try and connect comedians with like-minded people in the comedy industry, introduce them to the industry, and also maybe more importantly, introduce them to their fellow comedians that are around the country. There's a lot of opportunity to meet comics, whether it's at your same level or someone from a different club that might be able to give you a referral to showcase at their club. So one of the things that Joe and I talk about a lot.
Part of it is like the bottom part. And I know that's crazy because it's like, you've heard me say this 100 times when I've given our speech to the comics before the shows at the satellites. I say contests suck. And they're like, what? You run a big contest. But that's not why. The contest is just kind of an element to hold it together, to have kind of a reason to do this.
To do all the networking and to try and help comedians.
It's everything else.
Yeah. So one of the things that we'll go over here is some of the kind of like basics of how to register. You go to our website, theworldseriesofcomedy.com. You just fill out the registration. This year it costs $65. That gets you entry into the main event. The main event this year is going to be November 9th through 14th at LA Comedy Club in Las Vegas in the Strat Hotel and Resort. It's basically a week-long comedy conference, an opportunity for industry to interact, and an opportunity for you as a comedian to be seen by decision makers that could potentially get you paid work.
I know 2020 has been a pretty screwed up, crazy year for us and for everyone else. But I've been talking to my wife a lot about the festival. I keep thinking how good things. I always try to look at like what's good what's going to come out of this that's good. And I think like this seminar we're doing, but we're trying to learn how to live stream and really do it good and want to do it good and live stream the shows. And I think it's going to open up the potential to even have more industry, because there's going to be some industry that can't make it, but they're going to be willing to watch a show live stream. So it's just, I think it's going to open up there's going to be even more industry over the next years watching the comedians perform and stuff at the festival, live or streaming, but they're still going to see them, and that's huge.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more exposure for the comedians that are registered with the festival moving forward, given that we've been forced to adapt and create an online.
It's hard, and it's been driving all of us crazy, and everybody, not just me, but everybody. But like I said, I'll try to look for good things, and I think good things are going to come out of this for the comedians.
Yeah. And so I just want to go over a few more of the actual basics of it. So when you register, your registration fee is for the main event. You're not registering for an individual satellite and hoping to get into the main event. You are already in the main event. And in fact, part of the registration for the event means that we're going to try and find stage time for you, whether you're in the top 101 contest portion, or we've created some additional registered comic shows at the main event. So if you make your way to Las Vegas, November 9th through 14th, we will find stage time for you in front of industry, and you can be part of all of the networking elements and the meet and greet and all the daytime professional development seminars. So the festival is not just the contest. It's during the daytime, we run 2 seminars a day to help people learn as comedians, whether it's something as simple as joke writing, or whether it's something a little bit more off the wall, like learning how to handle expenses while you're on the road, or increasing revenue, or decreasing costs. So there's a lot of things other than just the contest that happen during the main event.
Well, there's a lot of people there usually that have a lot of experience. So in everything, if you don't learn something while you're there, I even tell the host all the time, I'm like, if you don't leave every city that you've gone to with a new joke, you're not working, you're not pushing. Yeah. This is a job, so it's that the comics should come prepared to work and be ready to, take notes and learn.
Yeah. So one of the things that if you're registered with us already, you'll be on our email list. So you'll get information about the registered comic shows at the main event. You'll get information about the official hotel. So just keep looking at the emails that we send out. We send out a lot of them. We understand that, but we have 6,000 people we need to contact on a consistent basis, and it's the easiest way for us to make sure that you're getting all the information you need in order to make a decision to come to the main event. If you aren't registered for the festival, you may be getting some of our emails as well. And if you do register, even now, although our online satellites have closed, you still are registered in the main event. You still have the opportunity to participate in the top 101 if your submission video is good enough, or at the registered comic shows. So just keep an eye out for the emails. One of the questions that we've had in the comments and also by email is regarding safety at this time in Las Vegas. So one of the reasons, and Joe, you can probably speak to this a little bit more in a second, one of the reasons that we went with a comedy club this year, part of the reason is they have inherent safety protocols in place. The Stratosphere Hotel has their own protocols that have to adhere to the municipal government of Las Vegas, the state government of Nevada, and the federal government. Then additionally, the club also has additional bylaws and regulations for social distancing, gathering numbers, that sort of thing. There's been some very positive news lately in Las Vegas. There's news that by the end of this month, they're going to be expanding the social gathering maximum from 50 to 250, which should mean that LA Comedy Club should be able to run at or near capacity. So, So Joe, why don't you talk about why we went to the club?
Well, we left Vegas a couple years ago because we wanted to explore other areas of the country, and we did it for a couple of years, and we haven't given up on that. But as the COVID stuff started to happen, you and I have been on the phone. Jason and I have been, talking a lot about this, and we chose a comedy club. We chose Vegas because we felt it would be the easiest place for us to get industry to show up this year, because it's going to be hard. It's going to be a little bit harder, but that's what we chose that there, and we also this will be the first time we do the main event in a comedy club, a room where we don't control everything. And one of the main reasons we chose that is because we don't have to. We have to follow everything, but we don't have to figure it out and try to know what the laws are, the rules, or whatever thing. It's up to the club, it's up to the casino, and it's up to us to just follow those rules.
Right. And one of the challenges that you and I barely know stuff about comedy, let alone we're not experts on infectious disease.
I don't want to go. Like we were very close to signing a deal at the Hard Rock in Tulsa, Oklahoma, before all this happened, and that possibly where the main event would have happened. Oh, I don't know. I think I've been to Tulsa once, but I mean, there's no way that you and I would have known what to do or what we had to do there. So at least by kind of taking some of that out of our hands, we feel we'll be doing everything that is needed to be done. And as my wife said, you'll be going to Sam's Club and buying a whole big case of masks and having them there. And I will. They'll be saying, I'm not going to give everybody a mask because you should bring one, but I'm going to have some just in case.
So one of the other things that we should remind people that being at a club also means that club is operational within these guidelines before we show up. So they understand the protocols, they've been working within them. The other thing to keep in mind too is that if you're at the Stratosphere, you actually don't have to go through the casino floor in order to get to the club. Club's on the mezzanine level. There's elevator access through, I think, 2 or 3 different elevator ports. There, you can basically just go from your room at the Stratosphere to the club without having to go through crowds of people on the casino floor.
And it's not good for the casino business-wise, but the last time we were there, they kind of have closed a lot of the stores because I think they're doing some remodeling, and I bet you a lot of that's kind of on hold. So the hallway's pretty empty.
Right.
So that makes it's, I know walking from the elevator to the club, there's not a lot of people there and a lot of things. So there's people at the show, but you're not going to have to run into a crowded area.
It's not 2009 Vegas where it's wall to wall people right now.
Yeah. And the nice thing that the casino also is they like the club a lot there. And they gave them a room that we used. If anybody was at the main event, at the Satellite this year in February, but they gave us a room across the hall. It's just an empty store, vacant area. And we're talking with them now, hopefully to get 1 or 2 of them as kind of like a comic sanctuary. Where we'll have our set up.
I'm just going to interrupt you for a second here, Joe, just to let the viewers know that in 2 minutes, we're going to be joined by one of the participating comedians for the festival, Kojo Prince. He's going to join us at the 15-minute mark, which is 2 minutes away from right now. And I think Kojo is going to be talking about sort of his expectations of the festival relative to what the reality of the festival was. Because that's a question that you and I get a lot is, will someone experiences it, they don't really know what it's about.
And sometimes it's not even a question, though. Somebody will say, this is what I thought. And you're like, whoa, that's not even, what it's about. So I know there's so much information in the website. It's confusing as shit, and there's just too much stuff on there. But I have to keep listing it that way in case somebody asks something. I can at least direct them somewhere on the website that has that information. I think every time somebody might complain about going through the registration process here, I should keep the very first website that I ever did for the World Series up somewhere as a backup and send them there.
Right.
They won't complain because the first one was really bad. And these websites, I don't know. And that's the other thing. Is a lot of comics. A lot of people who are registering don't realize this is a big festival and we do it big, but we're a very small team. I've taught myself how to build the websites. These are built by me. They're every year I try to update them. I try to make them work better on phones. But if you're a comic and you're building your own website, you know where I'm at. It's not, there's a lot of process to it.
Yeah. So if you have questions about the World Series of Comedy that either we're not answering in this Q&A, you can go to the worldseriesofcomedy.com and look up the FAQs. Probably after we speak with Kojo, one of our hosts who's working with production, Mike can maybe put up a screenshot of the FAQ. But I think Kojo's going to join us now here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
That was nice.
Hey, bud.
That was nice.
Yeah.
you in your car? Where are you going?
No, dude, I'm a family man. I got kids in the house. Look, this is like my office right here. When you're married, your car is your office.
That's
I know,
great.
buddy.
I got a bottle here for piss. I'm ready to go.
You're not leaving. Yes.
Wow.
I hope you drink what's in there.
Oh
That's
yeah.
great.
Oh wait.
Oh, yeah, you better
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
Sharpie out or something.
Thanks for joining us, first and foremost. One of the real pleasures for Joe and I is getting to meet new people with the festival. And last year, I think, was your first with us. Is that right?
Yes, it was my first with you, but not my first entering.
Right. Right.
And I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
we'll talk about that.
Let it rip. Go ahead.
Honestly, don't get mad at me. You asked me to be here, so if I say something,
No.
it's your fault.
We're never gonna. Kojo, I don't know what you could do to make me mad. Such a good guy.
When I first entered, I didn't give it hardly a second thought. I was like, why not? And I actually pulled out. I didn't continue with the process. I got accepted, and I'm like, whatever. And then 2 years later, something spurned in me to actually apply again, and I still had the same kind of nonchalant attitude. And once I started going through the satellites and actually physically doing it, I realized, oh my God, I don't believe I let this gold mine slip past me 2 years ago. And
it's not easy to get selected.
No, and here's the thing. I'm sorry. I thought it was. I thought it was easy. I thought everybody.
There's a lot of comics out there. You say
I was wrong.
There's a lot of comics mad at you right now, going asshole.
I was wrong.
You know?
It's a selective, very selective process. I didn't know that. Again, I was ignorant. So please let me tell you how bad it was. I go to a club. The only reason why, I'm not gonna lie, the only reason why I did it, because I wanted to get the attention of a club in Florida that I couldn't get for 10 years. I was mad. I was upset. Like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna show them what I got. Finally, if I have to pay to get in, I don't care. I'm gonna do it. I'm thinking that this club owner couldn't stand me because he ignored me. And I had a talk with you, Joe. He said, Joe, I mean, this guy hates me. He said, don't worry, I'll talk to McCurdy. I'll come back and give you the real scoop. He's like, Kojo, can I curse on this? Can I curse?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
of course. Okay. This is being ran by me. Yes, of course you can.
He was like, Kojo, he doesn't know who the fuck you are. I'm like, what are you talking about? I send him emails and everything. Kojo, he doesn't know who the fuck you are. So all this animosity you felt was misplaced. Go out there, do your thing, and God is my witness. I did my thing, and I got a standing ovation as I left the stage and when I came back in. My set that I use even today comes from your festival.
Does he know who you are now?
He knows who I am now. I mean, he doesn't know who anyone is now due to COVID, but
yeah,
pretty much.
I remember him walking backstage the next night going, COVID, good job. I mean, COVID, jeez.
COVID. Yeah, I'm going to call it COVID now.
Yeah,
COVID. I was like, that's another one. It's
that's
COVID Prince, everybody.
I'm going to start calling you COVID.
Yeah, that's a new one.
19, what's up, brother?
Hey, COVID, what's up, man? There's a black woman out there right now naming their kid COVID. But it's not going to be because it's going to be like COVID Lisa, you know, COVID Dallas. So,
Kojo, Eric was just in the comments and he said, say hi. Eric Dallas said, say hi.
hey, Eric, let me tell you something. I'm not going to put his business out there, but this guy, you really need to appreciate who you are, Eric. This guy beat me like 4 times in a row with the stuff that I got from you. So, hey, that set was blessed by God, and he beat me with it 4 times.
Yeah.
So, Eric, watch out for Eric Dowles. He's an amazing comic. Cool. Give him all the love he deserves. Trust me, he'll do the job for you.
Yeah.
One of the things that the festival does, as you've alluded to, Kojo, is we provide the video of your guys' performance when you're at these satellite events and when you're at the main event as well. So you get a professionally produced video that's to the specifications that a booker exactly would like to have.
And it's beautiful. It is beautiful, people. Trust me. I've been using it ever since. Since anything I send out from California to Jersey to anywhere, I use that video.
Cool, man.
Any last words before we let you go about your experiences at the festival, the main event?
Yes. Do not, you're going to hate me for it. Do not think of it as a competition. It is not a competition. The competition is something to do while you're there. The festival, dude, there's so much I want to tell you. Don't get wrapped up in the idea of a competition, because don't let that competition judge who you feel you are. I got a standing ovation. I get to the festival or the competition and I'm like, they don't really appreciate me as much as I thought. But I still walked away with a winner because I got a contract deal from Uproar Entertainment from the festival and what he saw that night.
Cool.
You can win without winning. Please don't think of it as a competition.
That's a really good line. You can win without winning.
You can win without winning. I got a recording contract from just being there in Missouri at the World Series.
Yep.
You don't have to win to win. You don't. Just show up.
Coach,
show up and give it your back, and it will shine no matter what.
Why do you think that happened? Because you put the work in.
Yeah. You just can't go up like, I'm kind of lazy. No, do your best, and your best will shine, and people will recognize it. Even if you don't win the competition, which, no offense, people, all it is a secondhand baseball trophy, with your name put on it.
How dare you?
I value the experience more than I value that trophy.
Sometimes I buy them new.
Oh, sometimes.
No.
You hear that, people? Sometimes.
No, they're shitty trophies.
That's amazing, Kojo. I wish we could chat all day. We have a couple other guests coming up in a little bit. Thank you so much
for having me.
It's been great. Great to see you again, too, man. Take care.
Yes, you will.
See you, buddy.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was cool.
I like Coach. He's such a good guy.
Yeah. One of the things that he sort of alluded to was the submission videos, and maybe we'll take a chance to go over some do's and don'ts on submission videos. We have another guest that's coming up probably in 7 minutes from now, I think. Is that correct? Yeah, at the 30-minute mark of the Q&A. So we have about 7 minutes to go over this.
Who is that guest?
The top 101 in the contest portion of the main event. Do you want to talk about how those people are chosen?
Yeah, everybody is. It's so crazy to me how we tell them over and over again how important their video is, and then sometimes it's even comics we know that have been doing it for years. They'll send in a video that's 5-6 years old, and we're like, what are you doing? Everyone gets selected from the video. There's just no other way for us to do it. Even if we know you, I tell all the people who are judging the videos, I'm like, even if you know them, judge them on this video, not on what you've seen them do in the past, not what you think they can do, and that's hard. I mean, and I'm sure no matter how hard we try, some of that comes through. But I think the people that I have watching the videos are really good at just judging that video. And I've gotten calls from you and other people who watch the videos saying, why did they submit this video? I've seen them do better. This hurts me to have to give them that score. And so really try to submit the very best video that you can.
So just to give a rundown of how the top 101 are determined. So the first 36 places go to the top 3 finishers of all of the satellites. There's a little bit of duplication in there, so we need to find usually around 70 more comedians beyond those who have qualified directly from the satellite events.
And then some of those finishers won't come, so then other people get moved up.
Right. And then it's all purely based on your submission video. You do have the opportunity to get the score of your submission video that's judged by 5 independent judges who don't see each other's scores, don't see each other's notes. But
you want me to tell the categories they're scored on, or?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, stage presence, originality, and overall. So you can get the max points you can get from a judge is 30 points.
Yeah.
And just it's basically just put into a Google spreadsheet with everybody's name, their score from each judge. I sort it by the totals. then I sort it by a couple other, like by Jason first, and then just to break ties. And then that's pretty much it. And then I have a little number chart beside it, and the top 30, what is it? The top 101. So what is it? The top 56, is it?
Yeah, it's 45 in the wild card and 56 in the round.
Yeah, so the top 56 are in the second round, and the top. Then we announce them, and then we slowly, and it's done the exact same way for the top 40 for the satellites.
Yeah, and so
we've had people go, how come I made it into this one, but I didn't make it into that one? Sometimes different people sign up, so just because you have your score's the same, but somebody else's score might beat
Right. Yeah. So one of the lessons from that is register early in the off season so that you have the access to as many satellites as possible. One of the things we do is when we open up registration, usually, but probably not this year, around Thanksgiving. Although maybe we will do it around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to have all the satellites booked by the time the main event happens, so we can just get somewhat back on schedule for next year. Let's hope.
Just to let from a judge's perspective, which is how I joined the festival, and then I've progressed to become VP since then. But from a judge's perspective, we have to go through hundreds of videos. So there's no favoritism. It's just literally watch a video, give it its score, watch the next video, give it its score. I don't know the other 4 judges have scored each video. They get ranked by the total. So we try and make it as independent, unbiased.
Yeah, even when I'm judging them, I don't look at anybody else's score because I don't want to be influenced. So I judge them on my own, and then
Right. So I'm going to interrupt you for a second here, Joe. We have Aurora join us in about 3 minutes. We have some people who are watching on the live stream. So hello, Marilyn and Eric and Michelle and Henry. Henry, we're in the middle of actually answering the question that you just posted in the comments of how the 101 are being chosen. So if you watch the archive of this, just go back to about the 22-minute mark. In general, it's basically based on your video submission score. You do have the opportunity to resubmit a video if you're not selected for a satellite event. But just keep in mind that it's probably best if you submit a video that has incorporated some change to you as a performer.
Yeah.
We do offer the opportunity for feedback, and this will probably tie in quite nicely into our next guest, Aurora. We do offer the opportunity for feedback on your video submissions. So if you contact me, Jason at theworldseriesofcomedy.com. So Mike, if you can type up my email address and put it at the bottom here in a second, that'd be great. I'm the judge.
The registration's worth that alone.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do is I would contact the other 4 judges, get their personal notes on your submission video, and then just aggregate them and send them to you. One of the things we always try to let everyone know is none of this is personal. If you see a common theme from multiple judges regarding an area of opportunity for you to improve, then it's probably a red flag that you might want to work on, whether it's stage presence, a nervous tick on stage, or using some of the 5 deadly sins. The 5 deadly sins that we talk about on stage. Joe, do you want to go through them, or you want me to list them?
I won't remember them all. I mean, I know that. Yeah, go through them, and I know the one. It's like I know what I
know
look
what
like.
you're thinking.
I know what you're thinking. No, you don't.
Don't put that in the video. I know what I look like.
You know you don't. You don't know what somebody looks like.
Give it up for. Make some noise.
Yeah, that's good. Little cheerleading. That's what bookers want to see.
Yeah, bookers pay you to get the audience to make noise, not to ask them to make noise. They can get
your job. Will make noise.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I hear that, I take a point off.
Yeah, laughter. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, if I hear any of these sort of like 5 big ones, I'll take a point off of your stage presence or your overall. So the 4th one is, I'm going to wrap it up here. It's just a very open mic statement to make in a submission video. And then the final one is we'll probably lead right into our guest who's going to join us in about 30 seconds, is using you guys as a collective noun to the audience. So when you're trying to reel their attention back.
I'm just saying, guys, I was watching a couple videos just recently, and I was hearing guys, and it's like, oh, come on.
I'll literally make remarks of how often someone says guys or you guys during a performance.
The thing,
So-
yeah, and it's not just us being picky. These are things that we've heard.
We got Aurora coming.
We've had conversations with bookers where we've sat around and talked and laughed about new video. And we're not meaning to laugh at you, and we never say, hey, oh, you should see that. We never throw anybody in the bus. But I mean, there's been times we've talked about this to people.
Give him the light. Give him the light. We got to introduce Aurora.
All right, let's get Aurora on here. Yay!
Yay!
Hi, how are you?
I didn't know I was getting an intro like that, so I feel really special.
Yeah, oh yeah, you are special.
Yeah, of course.
Special right away. Yay!
Yay! Well, yeah, the feedback is amazing. I'll tell you, like, my feedback just for the video was incredible.
Tell us a little bit.
We're
Laura,
laughing because we
what's your
remember
first video you sent in?
how were you dressed in your first video?
Well, I submitted a really funny video. I was wearing a sloth onesie just because I was in a show that you had to wear a onesie, but out of context, it was terrible. Why would I do that?
That was the perfect video to send in. Did you get in that year from that video?
So I didn't get in with that video, but luckily I got the feedback, and I knew it was bad when I sent it in, but in my mind I was like, send in something rather than nothing. But I got my feedback, and then like a week later I was able to record a better video with normal clothes on, and and I got in, and then I got in the top 100 in the final event. So it really goes to show that, like, what they are saying is they're not picking favorites. They're going based off of talent. And if you're following feedback and listening, then they're just going to go based off the video. So I went from a shit video that was literally like, who is this? They didn't know me at all. Then I listened to feedback, got a bit better video. Then I ended up, well, you guys don't know the backstory, but I'm married to another comedian, and I ended up surpassing him in the competition.
I'm just kidding. He's great. We love you. It's funny.
Yeah.
So it's like,
he's not even watching. He's like, why did they ask her?
yeah.
Maybe he was your footstool today.
Oh no, he's at work making money because I'm unemployed and we have bills to pay. So
Good
he's
man.
my sugar daddy.
I'm just going to interrupt for a second here to note something that Eric wrote here in the chat. He said, the feedback is so important. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's 100% what you need to hear. He said that we're incredibly insightful, and you can also get personalized feedback after each satellite. So we usually go out to meet after the show. So we've done that with you before as well, right?
Yeah. So my first satellite I was really intimidated to go out with you guys afterwards. But it was very helpful. What I got from it was that I learned that I was doing things that were kind of like a regional habit.
Right.
That were just like, everyone in my region says this, or everyone in my region acts this way. And it wasn't something that I could translate to everyone, and it would stick out to people who like are on the East Coast. But I felt like I was going to get judged and ripped apart. But in actuality, it was like very professional and productive.
Why were you intimidated? Is that why you thought we were going to rip you apart or something?
Well, because I'm a comedian, I'm sensitive as fuck. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. I want to know why.
I think it's just because, like,
I mean, is it something how I act? You know what I mean? I want to make sure.
I think it's just like your title, and then the fact that, like what Kojo was saying before, it's a competition. So my first time in, I'm thinking, okay, you need to win, you need to win, you need to win. These are the professionals, they're the president, they're the CEO. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. But then I sit down with you guys and I'm like, oh, they're just literally trying to help me build a better set to get booked at clubs and meet other comedians. And besides the feedback, you do get to meet a lot of really great comedians on the road. And then another thing I wanted to say on, like, the tics, right? My husband is.
Are we going to get through this story?
We have a link to the video. We should put up a link and make sure it gets put up.
I would love if you put up a link. But my husband did a satellite, and he said, you guys 18 times? 19?
19 times in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, said you guys 19 times. That is a very regional thing, and it's a very nervous tick thing. Yeah. I didn't even notice it.
You guys.
Hey, you guys.
And
guys,
also,
you guys.
Yeah.
And it's not as if you and
let's
Drew,
talk about what he did though. He made a video.
Right. It's well, just before we get to that, Joe, it's not as if you and Drew are new to comedy. Like you guys were both like 4.5 years in at this point.
Yeah, over 5 years each. And
Right.
so getting that feedback, he heard it, and then it was literally heard it next set, said
2
you
days
guys, I
later.
think maybe 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the feedback you get at first seems a little intimidating, and you kind of have to like have your ego and you want to protect your set and all this stuff. But the feedback is so good that it's gotten me. I've even had comedians who are like touring internationally, and they saw me at the beginning of the World Series and they saw me at the end, and they're like, "Oh my God, you have gotten so much better just by fixing little things that I never would have even thought about."
Right.
Because of the feedback I've gotten on my video, on my stage presence, little nervous ticks, everything.
And one of the things
Drew was great about it. He made a video and sent it to us, and we'll try to get the link up to that for everyone. But it's fun. He was really cool. We would never pick on him without his blessing, but he made a video where he counted the you guys as he did it, and it's really funny. It
like dinged every time he said you guys.
And when you hear that ding, it's like, whoa, holy shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, very Pavlovian. One of the things that I just want to really reiterate about what you said, Aurora, was how your perception of just sending in any video just to get a video in front of someone. One of the things that I think is really important that comedians don't think about is your submission video is really your calling card. So not only should it be good in terms of like technical value, like framed well, in focus, well lit, good audio, framed on the middle of the stage, not from the side, but also it should contain the content that really highlights you as a writer and a performer. It should be all your best material. You shouldn't just take a 5-minute chunk from a 22-minute set somewhere.
Right.
Exactly. And we're not saying this just for the World Series of Comedy. We're saying, I think every comic at the beginning of the year should look at how many festivals they want to register for, find out how long their submission video is, and then rehearse and do that.
Right.
And do it over and over again.
I will say, just because I know we have to kind of like wrap it up a little bit, but I wanted to just say that based off the feedback I've gotten over the World Series of Comedy, just overall, I went from not really getting into much festivals, like just kind of doing okay, to getting into festivals that I never like thought I could get into for a few years.
Cool.
And,
that's great.
And also I was able to get more contacts with clubs like in Colorado and things like that I never thought I could before, just because my set got so much better. I mean, obviously I couldn't do those festivals this year because of everything, but I got into them. And I got into a festival this year that took me 3 years to get into.
Oh, that's amazing. That's cool to hear that someone who is an experienced comedian already, like yourself and Drew, still found value in the festival, and it helped you fast track your career a little bit.
What's the festival you got into?
Women in Comedy, and last year I got into Burbank.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I think Joe did Women in Comedy once. Did you do that?
I did that,
2012?
Yeah. Like when I got to the bikini part, I lost.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have voted for you.
Thank you.
If he was dressed as a sloth, we would have voted for him too. Thank you, Laura. That's amazing. Say hi to Drew for us.
I will.
Thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
Always. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. What we were saying about, like, I really think that you need to rehearse. Remember my story about my friend Brian McKim?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian. Brian is a comic and you can look it up on YouTube. I think it's what set was it? Not Conan.
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah, he did a late night set on Craig Ferguson. Brian has been doing comedy for many, many years, and he came down to my show when I had my show in Las Vegas. He came down. I think it was almost 6 weeks, maybe every single night, and he's been doing comedy 40 some years. And he's like, "Hey, can I do 5 minutes?" I'm like, "You can do as much as you want. I mean, you're talented." He's like, "No, I want to do 5." And he came down for 6 weeks, and my show was 5 nights a week, and he did 5 minutes. And every night he'd come off stage with a little notebook and cross that one out, change it, and he just kept tweaking it. And I was one of the first people he contacted after his set. on Ferguson, and it's a really great set if you want to look it up on YouTube. He contacted me and said, thank you. And he got that spot because he rehearsed a 5-minute set. And I know the World Series is not Craig Ferguson. No festival is. But to me, if you want your best shot to get in them, you should look at your submission video.
I don't understand why people like leave bullets in the chamber. We'll go over this in a second. I just want to announce to anyone who's watching that we're going to have another guest join us in about 4.5, 5 minutes. Neil Rubenstein. He's going to be talking about networking. Neil's a great guy with a wonderful beard. So he'll be joining us in about 4.5 minutes. One of the things, just to get back to your conversation about showcasing your best performance, I don't understand why people leave a bullet in the chamber. Like, we've had a lot of people in the festival be in like round 1 and say, oh, I left my 4 best minutes in case I advanced to round 2. It's like, you can't advance to round 2 if you're not performing your best material. The bookers see that. They're like, why did he save this joke? If I booked them for a weekend at my club, I want them doing their best material, and I want to see them perform it multiple times in front of multiple audiences. So your submission video really should be your 5 or 7 or 12 minutes, depending on how long either the book or the festival wants. We want 5.
We also get the question a lot. It's like, do they have to change their material for the next round or the next? And the answer is no. I know there are some festivals out there. I don't know which ones, but I know there's some that say you can't do this set because you did that set. We're not like that. I always say, do what got you here. If you send in a good video and that got you into that contest, then do that. That's what we. I've seen how many times have we seen, Jason, where somebody sent in a video that's good, and we're like, oh man, they're good, and then they show up and they do a whole bunch of crap, and we're like, oh, we were excited. We love comedy. So we're excited to see it. We're like, oh, we saw that video. I can't wait to see it live. And then they do something, and you're like, why did you do that? And they're like, oh, I wanted to show. It's like, show us. If you don't move on 6 times in a row, then shock us and bring us something different. But if you're moving on, keep doing it. Keep bringing it.
One of the things that this conversation sort of ties into is that at the main event itself, we do have professional daytime seminars, and joke writing is part of it. I do a set construction seminar, and basically the perspective of that is, how do you create the best cohesive 5-minute set for you to showcase your skills as a writer and performer? And so it's a big discussion about what bookers want to see, how you should be filming yourself, what you should get on film, and how you would rewrite some of your material in order to highlight your stuff.
So your set construction seminar, it's not about building a stage?
No, it's not, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. We're not throwing anybody under the bus, but recently a comic didn't come to that seminar because he thought it was about building the actual building of a stage.
An actual set. Just to answer a couple questions that are in the comment section, Adam Gable, who is a great dude and is asking this very rhetorically and sarcastically. So it's okay to tell the same joke more than once. Like,
are you talking about in the same set?
Yeah.
Adam?
Yeah.
Adam, if you don't know Adam, you should, and you get a chance, watch his video. He's a very funny guy. But he there's times we've seen him tell the one joke 4 or 5 times, and it is crazy. He says, I'm going to get a laugh off of this 7 times, and he does. He gets a laugh off of it. When you don't want to laugh, you're like, oh, I'm laughing at that stupid
And then Will K, who Will K, who I think is probably Will Krolowitz. We're in the club there at LA Comedy Club November 9th to 14th at the Stratosphere in Las Vegas for the main event. Everything's a go for that currently. And
all that information is all on the website.
Yeah, it's on the website. And also, if you watch the archive of this Q&A, we talked about it in the first 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. Bobby, who answered Will in the chat, brought up a good point. We're going to be joining with Neil in about 20 seconds here, but we have enough time to mention that if you go to our website and click on the main hotel, the main event hotel tab, we have special discounts for people who come to watch the festival.
They've been very supportive.
And yeah, the Stratosphere has been really great. So they're going to be a partner of ours. So we highly recommend that you stay there. All of the events are going to take place on site at the Stratosphere. And also you supporting them helps us be supported as a festival too. I guess it's time to bring in Neil. So we have some more cool art, like I'm going to dance to this one. Oh, that one was like,
sorry, buddy. You don't look that here. Like in the one video, you look like the picture. I'm sorry. How you doing, buddy?
I'm fine. I feel like the other comics got like a better video.
Yeah, they're a little more hype.
Yeah, that was like, oh yeah, and this guy too. Here.
What are you talking about? Better video.
You got like Coltrane, and the other two people got like Ace of Spades.
Well, you need to take that up with Mike Fountain. Mike at theworldseriesoffcomedy.com.
It's good that we're wasting. You just got the light. It's good that we're wasting all of your time chatting about your intro. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Glad you guys went with diversity today. You had the black guy, the Indian lady, the gay Jew. It's good. Good for you guys.
We totally planned it.
Yeah. So you're joining us today to talk a lot, mostly about your experiences at the main event, getting to meet other comedians, maybe setting up shows with them, interacting with some of the industry, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I'm not a yes man or anything. I'm not like a a cheerleader for anybody, but like you can make anything feel crappy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, so if you have a negative attitude about the thing, it's probably gonna be bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you hear all these people talking, you hear all these people talking and attesting to it. Do the work, put in the effort. Like if you're social, if you're a good comic, if you're personable, like all those things matter, and they matter individually. Like it doesn't. I've seen bad comics be cool people, and they get the spoils of being a cool person. You know, like. Or vice versa. I've seen people who can't look you in the eye, but they're so funny. You're like, oh, you got to get this guy to hang out or whatever to be on the show.
Yeah, one of the cool things about the festival is that it's almost like a conference, and we actually give out lanyards to people. So as you're walking around the property, and if you bump into someone else with a lanyard, you know that somehow they're involved in the festival. So it's a good way to strike up a conversation.
Yeah, and you see everyone's names all the time. Like you see, like when you enter the satellite, there's 40 names, and you're like, oh, they don't mean anything to you. But then when you get there, you're like, oh, Will Krolowitz, I remember your name from the site, or oh, Adam Gable, I saw your name on the site, or you know what I mean? And you're like, I don't know, you have a reason to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you got to know all those people down in Myrtle Beach when you come down. When we were talking that one day.
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother story. So, I mean, Myrtle Beach, we went to Myrtle Beach, and there was like how deep do those Virginia Beach kids roll? Like 20 of them.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And like, I'm still friendly with them online. Like we've done a couple of shows. I mean, COVID really put a
damper on everything.
But but I mean, when it's all over, I'm sure I'm going to be doing shows with those guys, a handful of them. I know a bunch of them came up here for stuff. Like, I know that Adam, my buddy Adam from here, I know he does shows with a bunch of people from Ohio and stuff that we all met in.
One of the cool things for us is when Joe and I will text and be like, "Did you see Ray Henley's Facebook post?" Is like he's doing a one-nighter at a bar with Wyatt Cote, and we know for a fact those two fucking guys didn't know each other before this festival.
Absolutely.
I also love when somebody posts on Facebook and 6 other comics bust their balls, and when we go, and Jason and I will talk about that a lot of times. We're like, oh, did you see what Neil posted about somebody? We know he didn't know that guy before. Now he's able to say smart shit on Facebook about somebody, which is fun. You know what I mean? It's great.
No, it's totally true. Like, I mean, I made so many friends, comedy friends through the festival that makes my life 100% easier now, because if I'm going, okay, I won a feature weekend in Oklahoma. So to break up the drive going there, Ray Hensley helped me get a gig. Tony Foxworthy helped me get a gig. All these guys I wouldn't know. Karen Jaffe got me a gig. All these people I would not have known at all if not for the festival. So it makes my drive out super easy because now I got 3 shows on the way there or 4 shows on the way there. I have the show that I won from the place.
How'd you win that? From what?
From you guys.
I know. I'm just looking for.
I'm doing it for you guys.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing too is there are people who will give you referrals for a showcase at a club too. So when you're doing something like this, if you're going on like a little trip, and even if you don't get a paid gig, you could be like, "Hey, Karen, any chance that I can like showcase at Wiley's or whatever on the Sunday when I'm driving back?"
Showcase, pass the hat, sell some merch.
Yeah.
Usually someone scores you a meal, place to crash.
Yeah. Yeah, the couch surfing is amazing. One of the things Go ahead.
That's really what the festival is about, though. I mean, it's really about, like, this festival is designed for road comics, and with the stuff you win is feature work around the country, and you got people you can meet. Yeah, the more people you can meet, the better it is.
Yeah, one of the things that I know that you said to us before, Neil, is that kind of meeting someone on your own wavelength and your own experience level and your own interest level for comedy has been.
Yeah, I mean, we're all, like you said, the festivals for feature comics, for road dogs. Like, you're not going to drive all over the country doing these satellites if you're not willing to drive all over the country to do work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to meet the same kind of people. Oh yeah, Kojo just mentioned Ira Summer.
Yeah,
he's another one. That was like Laughs Unlimited. I couldn't have. There's no way I would have been greeted with such open arms by an entire city. Every one of those Sacramento comics is dope. It is a whole person. And then Ira does Oakland, and he was like, "Hey, you're awesome, but you didn't advance. Come do my show." I rode out there with Bobby Emoto, who was a total stranger at the time.
Yeah.
We drove out to, we're fast friends now. We talk all the time. I just did his pod. Like, Ira's always thanking me, congratulating me. I'm thanking him, he put me on another Zoom show. Like,
that's great.
These guys are like, it's unbelievable. The community is, and they're there. They look, you want to meet people? I want to meet people.
Something that happened for me a year or two ago with you, Neil, and was I get emails occasionally from bookers saying, "Hey, you know, somebody could fill this date real quick," and I, just from knowing you, I knew you were ready to leave. He would have never hired you. This was in the middle of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or something. He wouldn't have hired you.
To hire me. He's obligated to at this point.
Correct. No, but I mean, he wouldn't have hired you because he didn't know you, and he would have looked at you at New York. He would have been like, "Oh, he's not going to want to drive across the country." And that's what he said to me when I sent him your information with your address. He goes, "This guy's not going to." And I go, "Yes, he will. I know him. We've met. We talked. We're friends. He will drive. If you want to hire him, he'll drive there, and he'll do a great job for you."
And then on the way to that show, there's Akron, there's Dayton, there's Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah.
All met through you guys. On the way back was Chicago was on the way back, and there was another person I met through you guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes bookers don't realize that you guys are ready to drive, and so the more you do the festival, and I see you coming to all these, I know if you're coming to my stupid satellites for nothing just to perform, if there's a paid gig, fuck yeah, you're gonna go.
And then also, you said earlier. Sorry to interrupt you. You also managed to book work at the main event by getting to meet the industry that we bring out too, right?
Yeah. I didn't do as great at the main event as I do at the satellites.
Cool.
But that's just I think that's a numbers thing. I tend to, as far as industry goes, I tend to like, I don't know.
Yeah,
well, you know what? That was your first main event too, or second?
Yeah, but I'm going to echo what Kojo said with Curtis. I couldn't get in there with nothing. And then I went and did the satellite, and he came in the back and was like, you're all passed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool to hear.
Yeah, and Les is really into the festival. He's a comic first, so he's really into it.
I don't know that. I'm gonna go out of school here.
Go ahead.
Rowland, in a personal side mention, was like, I love the World Series because I get to see the strongest features from around the country I would never meet.
Oh, that's great. She's
really
the whole club. We love it. I miss them. Like, there's so many clubs that I miss going to see this year that we go so many times, and to get to go down. And you know what's great is most of the clubs that we deal with, when I came up with this online satellite idea, they all have jumped on and just been super supportive, and they're watching the videos and they're seeing you guys that way.
Yeah, one of the cool.
That's my absolute favorite club. Everyone there is so sweet. Everyone's so awesome.
And the audience looks like they're gonna die. They're like 80. They look like they're 2,000 years old.
Good audience there.
Yeah, they look like they're so old, but they're so great.
No,
they're so
into people. Sarasota's up and coming. It's good.
Yeah,
they're great. I love that club.
The first time I was there, I turned to Joe.
Let's get older. You go. The late show starts at 7:20.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right, but you know,
I remember telling Joe the first time that I was at that club, like 12 minutes into pre-show seating, I turned to him. I go, "This is a great club." Like I come from being a former club manager, and you could just tell how well run it is, how much they support the comedians, and if you create a good environment for comedians to perform, which is what our goal is in the World Series of Comedy at all of our satellites and at the main event, then the other elements will fall into place. If you create a great environment for comedians to perform, they'll do their best, the audience will be happy, and the staff will be happy. And so that's sort of what our goal is with the main event as well.
And there's so many clubs out there like McCurdy's, like that are like that are ran great like that are fun. And we're just it kills Jason and I, but this was our favorite schedule for satellites this year. Like, we had the House of Comedy, Minnesota. Like, we had so many great clubs that were on board that it seemed like we would finally. It was so much easier for me to book them, and the big clubs were jumping on board. And
yeah, and then the other thing too with Facebook getting your like memory of a year ago, and I'm like, oh, we were in Boston a year ago. Oh, we were in.
That's great club, and they've been super supportive.
Yeah,
you did good at that club, too, right? Laugh Boston.
I won Laugh Boston. I won Pittsburgh, Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, and McCurdy's.
Well, I think we're going to wrap up here. Neil, thanks so much for joining us. One of the things I just want to point out as well, and then Michelle asked for it in the comments, is we do have sort of like low pressure networking opportunities at the main event. We do some fun stuff like karaoke and poker and bowling, but we also do have a specific meet and greet. It's always Thursday afternoon. So if you can't come for the whole week, try and figure out a way to be there Thursday during the afternoon. That's when
you guys hang. Everyone hangs.
And it's fun.
If there's nothing on the schedule, people are hanging. Go to the show, wait till the show ends, and see who's hanging. People are gonna hang. That every festival show, every satellite show I've ever been to, I've gone and gotten wings with some variation of you guys.
Yeah, and I think that might end up being a little bit even more frequent this year, even though we're in Vegas, which has a lot of other entertainment opportunities, even late at night. Just because I think a lot of the people who are going to be coming to the main event are going to want to sort of keep the bubble a little smaller. We might have like a private eating area instead of going to a restaurant. But yeah, for sure, the post-show hangs are such an important part and fun part of the festival.
And sorry to keep going, but like at the two main events that I went to, there was always like a hub too. Right. So like I remember at Belterra, everyone kind of like hang out at that coffee shop on the corner of that walk.
Yeah, in the hall, in the lobby.
Yeah, just pop down there, see who's at the coffee shop, and it's Nyla, America's Got Talent, giving notes, impromptu at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, and it's like, oh, this is unbelievable. I wouldn't have known this if I just stayed in my room. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, just walk around the hotel. Walk around, you're going to find people still hanging out all night.
Yeah.
Joe says if you're in your room, you're not treating the main event correctly.
You can sit in the room and you complain about the money you spent and how nobody likes you, nobody good likes you, or you can go be a cool person and go meet.
Yeah, it's hard and it's scary sometimes, but that's what, just know that everyone's feels the same way as you. And if you're out there,
there's 300,000 comedians in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do something to separate yourself. Go be a nice person. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. That's huge.
And
That
you're
is
one of
huge.
the nicest, bud.
Huh?
You are absolutely one of the nicest people. It's I said this when Kojo was on. And
Yeah, he's like, I got a reputation here. Turn around and break something on his shelf back there.
Joe and I genuinely make a lot of really good friendships through this festival, and yours is one of the best that I've made. So thanks for taking the time to spend with us today. And I think Joe and I are probably going to wrap up with a few other things about some of the networking. But thanks so much, Neil. Talk to you soon, bud.
Thanks, Neil. I got two things real quick. I just want to say real fast. One was it touches on what you said about becoming friends. Sometimes some of the people who are just registering now, they're like, well, how can you become friends? That doesn't seem fair. And I've worked really hard. And once you get to know me and know the festival and know us, this festival has survived for 10 years or because it's 11th year now. Yeah. Survived. I'm a stickler on the rules. Like why did you think I said something else?
No, you kind of froze for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a stickler on the rules. I mean, it doesn't matter how much we know you and how much you become a friend. Sometimes that might even work
above everything else. The integrity of the festival is super important to us. And like you said, we wouldn't have survived if we didn't have that element in place.
This festival is set up in a way that with all the rules, and as long as we follow the rules, we can become friends with somebody. And like I said, sometimes when you get to know somebody more, we're sometimes rougher on them than we are somebody we don't know because we know what they can do. And we yell at them like, come on, man, push it. So Michelle just signed up this year. I saw a post while Neil was on, and she had asked about a schedule on the website. It's on the website. That how I usually do it is I leave up last year's schedule.
Yeah. Mike, can we show that on the screen, please? The schedule, the festival schedule of events.
Yeah, Michelle had asked about it, so I just wanted to go real quick. It's not been updated yet. I don't update it until I get everybody lined up, and I don't line up everybody until I do it in steps. I've learned I used to contact the industry really early in the year because I'd be excited and I'd want to mark them down if they were coming. And over the 11 years of doing this, I've learned they're not going to tell me they're coming to the last minute, that no matter how much I try or how much I want that to happen. So I kind of have a system that I go through for myself where I let registration close, then they kind of know that it's really happening. And then I go through and add, update the schedule. So this is on there, and this year's schedule will be fairly close to this one. I haven't really changed the schedule too much in the last several years. It kind of stays the same. I just mark down who's going to be there on what day and stuff like that.
Right. So basically
out emails saying, check out the schedule, it's up to date, things like that. So
right. So the day of the week will stay the same. So the Monday we'll do the same stuff on the corresponding Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, that sort of thing. We have changed the format of the festival slightly. We've added a quarterfinal round to the actual shows. And so that means that we're doing 18 shows this year, 16 competition shows and 2 shows for the registered comics. One of the things we'll wrap up here probably in 3 or 4 minutes or something like that. I just want to make sure that we go a little bit more over the networking. So part of the networking is the schedule of events. The industry tend to be the people who present the seminars. So it's a great opportunity to get insight from them, but also meet them.
So much formal. Very few formal.
Right. But we usually do a poker tournament. We usually do a bowling night. So it's kind of like low pressure versus like structured. So we do have one structured
here's
network.
The thing. I know what you're going to say. You're saying all these great network things, but I know there's some comics out there because I get it every year. I don't care about that. I want to perform. Well, you should care about it, but that's fine. If you don't and you want to perform, we have the late night shows that we put on So if you're a comic who registered for this festival, and when we put out the top 101 names, if you're not on that, the following week I send out an email saying, hey, grab a spot on these late night shows. And they started out as one late night show. We're up to 3. That's why we have 18 shows. So
I think we're going to start sending out emails for those around October 11th or October 12th. So keep an eye on your email inbox. We will have announced the top 101 by that point. We're releasing 20 names a week. We'll be releasing the next 20 later on tonight. One of the other things that
right now.
Sorry, go ahead.
Late night show. Yeah, Marilyn was just talking about that now. The late night opportunities for anyone to perform. It's it's funny because the first year I did this, I thought the 101 were going to show up. I didn't expect. And then I sent out the email saying, hey, you could come. You're still registered. All of a sudden I had like 15, 20, 30 extra. And I was like, holy crap, I need to get these guys on stage. So I added the show like right at the last minute to get them on stage because I knew comics and they want to perform. And then every year that's grown. And I just love it. I love when a comic who is not one of the top 101, who didn't get selected, but they come out to the festival, they work, they network, and they come up to me at the end of the festival and say, hey, man, I got work from this, or I learned this, or I now understand this. That's such
they're going to get a video of their performance. And if they take advantage of meeting people within the industry and going to the seminars, we've been told multiple times independently that going to the main event can give you probably a year's worth of experience in terms of eliminating stuff that you would have learned through trial and error on your own in the course of a week. It can really fast track because it's industry specific experts telling you what they want to see and also what you should not be doing as a comedian. The top 101 is being announced right now, Henry. It's being slowly updated to the website. If you go to the worldseriesofcomedy.com/ I think top 101. We're releasing about 20 a week every Tuesday until October 4th, which I think is when the final 101 will be announced. There will be changes based on whether people can attend or not, but after that, that's when we'll open up the registered comic shows.
Yeah, and you'll get emails. I know it's a lot of emails, like we said, but this is the time that you should be looking at them because we're sending out information about the festival a lot. As soon as we're done with these 2 seminars, Q&As today, I'll be announcing the next 20. They'll be going up shortly.
Don't we have also the wild card advancers for Harvey's maybe too, today or tomorrow?
I already did that. The people who advanced in the wild card already moved on.
Sorry to interrupt you, Joe. One of the things that was mentioned by a bunch of comedians when we were setting up this Q&A is to really kind of rank what the important elements of the main event are. And it was funny, to a person, probably 8 or 9 people contributed to us developing the format for this Q&A. And almost every single one of them put the actual contest last. It was meeting other comedians first, meeting industry next. It was learning and professional development through the seminars. Then it was the contest portion.
Can I say this? If you're a comic, and I don't know who's watching right now, we're just doing this, and I love it, and I hope we have a lot of people watching, but if you're a comic who hasn't registered for this festival and you're thinking about it, if you're only registering to win this festival, keep your money. Don't register. If you're registering, if you're thinking about registering, but you're not planning on at least trying to make it to the main event, don't register. Like that, those are you should always be registering for this festival with the hopes and the attempt to make it to the main event, performing or not. If you're just like, I just want to win this thing, that's the only reason I'm performing, that's the only reason I'm registering, if that's the wrong reason to register for this festival.
Yeah, this whole festival is about getting exposure for you as a comedian within the community, with other comedians, and also with industry. That's why we do 13 events a year. We had to migrate a lot of them online this year, but we do 13 events so that you have multiple opportunities to expose your comedy to people who have the ability to book you.
Yeah, the first several years I did this, I had a comedian who registered, and no matter how many people who had registered, he was last. His ranking, his score was last. And, you know, I mean, somebody has to be at the bottom, but it doesn't mean that he's not good. It doesn't mean he's not going to grow over the years. He was just really new, and that's where he was at. So the next year he registers again and sends the same video, and he gets the same results. And I remember going to my wife at the end of that season. I said, if he registers again this year and sends that same video, I'm sending him back his money and his registration. I'm like, I don't want to just take the registration fee. I mean, the registration fee is important for us to be able to run this festival. There's a lot of cost involved in the festival, but I don't want somebody. I want you to get something out of that money. I want you to feel like you got something, whether it's the feedback on. He never asked for feedback on. Like, if he just asked for feedback, he would have known not to send that video again.
There's so many avenues to explore.
Just bug us. We're humans. We want to help. That we're here. We want to help you grow as a comedian.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up here in a second. We have part 2 of the Q&A that's going to focus more on the main event and people who have participated and attended the main event in the past. But yeah, the real focus for the festival is about trying to help people develop. It's not about winning a contest. So it's been great to chat with you guys today. Hopefully you got some information about that. Any last words at all, Joe, or on to part 2 in 20 minutes?
Yeah, let's just go. I think we're good. I feel good about I hope that everybody gets it. I mean, really lost on something, my phone number is on the website. Call me. Don't call me the next hour. I'll be busy, but if I'm near my phone, I answer it.
Yeah, we're very transparent. If you ever have any questions, feel free to email us. It's very simple. We have long but simple emails. Jason at worldseries.com.
Yeah, a lot of times I respond. I look at the website first, and that may some people may think, wow, he's really cold. He won't even answer the question. But I've typed out so much information. There's so much information on the website. I know there's too much, but take some time, really look at it, go over it. If you still have questions, please call or email.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
It'll start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, September 22nd, if you're watching live. Thanks again. Bye.
Thank you.